Hey, can you hear me?
Hi,
What's going on? How are you?
good. How are you? Got the Studi glasses and everything. I see you now. Okay.
Hey, gotta keep it fresh, man. I just got done with an interview literally like a minute ago, and I
Okay.
came in a little minute late, so sorry for that. Disregard
You
that.
good?
What's going on with you?
I'm good. Can't complain. I stubbed my thumb earlier because I was wiring the back of a canvas, and so that hurts a little bit, but I'll be all right.
You been putting in some work, huh?
Yeah, I got a show the 17th
Yep.
in Greensboro. So, yup,
Ooh.
getting all that done.
What's
The
what's some of
back
the
end of it.
products that you got right now? What you working on right now?
Uh, I finished. Look for it. I was like, okay, so I finished this one. It's
Uh,
like the 14 by 14. So the show on the 17th is like an erotic show. So I've never done one of those. So I was like, well,
Look, you're gonna have a blast. I went to one a couple of years ago back in Atlanta, and I had
uh-huh.
mine. We had them underground events.
Mhm.
When you walked in, it's like it's street level, but it goes down to the bottom. And when you go to the bottom, you see these different paintings on the wall, and the
Yeah.
lights are like red. It's just like a red ambiance. So you walking in, so you seeing all these pictures. That's what your picture reminds me of, seeing that.
Hmm.
But it's more animated though. So that's gonna sell itself, man. And
Yeah. So I'm excited. And then so it's like me and my other homegirl, she's also gonna be in the show too. So we're like, we're trying to figure out like how do we dress up for this event? I mean, granted, like it's mask optional, but I was like, I mean, given it's both of our first time, I'm like, let's be spontaneous
yeah,
and find, some wild shit. So
be
we
free.
went to, yeah, so we went to what is it, Adam and Eve, and we were looking at some of the masks that they had. We were like, no, not necessarily. So I actually ended up finding one on Amazon,
I,
and it's like a cat mask, but it has spikes on it. And I was like, I have to have it. And so then I have like a red dress that my mom is gonna ship for me from my house. I forgot I left it there. And
yeah,
I'm gonna just wear that instead and just be comfortable. So I think for her, she wants to do a jumpsuit. And I was like, if I see you come around me with a latex jumpsuit, I'm going to laugh the entire time. I will not be able to keep a straight face.
that's gonna catch so much attention because you know what I mean. That's a whole other crowd that y'all walking
It,
into.
it
But
it sure is. It sure is. So it's different. Like they got the poets going. They just signed for a DJ. They're
yeah,
gonna have like a couple of live bands playing too. So I was like, well, this is gonna be interesting. So I'm curious by all means. I can't wait because I'm like, okay, let's get the ball rolling. So like Saturday we have to all drop our stuff off to the event. So I'm taking my friends with me because she has to work.
yeah.
And since I have to go to High Point anyway, I
Mhm.
was like, well, let me kill two birds with one stone.
See, and that's what's gonna be so dope about it because you're stepping into a whole other realm. Like, yeah, it's still art, but you have to get uncomfortable for you to really get to where you're trying to go to right now. That's a smart way.
Exactly.
I commend you on
Hmm.
that, man. I commend you on that. So,
Yeah, because I would never would have thought about it.
man, introduce yourself to the people, man. For those who are listening right now, who are you?
So my name is Tiffany Wilson, also known as Tiffy Inks or Tiff or T, whichever, don't matter. I am an artist. I do have a regular 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, but once I clock out, I'm on art time in the evenings and sometimes on the weekends. I do shows. I would say my style is strictly just pop art, cartoons, anime per se. I like to mess around with bright colors or any type of color palette that I can find on the internet and figure out, oh, how can I, incorporate this with this character or whatever scenario I can think of.
I like that. I like how you brought that straight to the point. So let me ask you, I'm gonna start off with a question. So what are some tips or examples you can give the listeners on self-improvement?
Practice, for one. Always never be afraid to either learn something new or try to do something that might be a little bit out of your element, but also try to find a way to incorporate your style in that element while you're doing that. Because then I get sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming when you're trying to learn something new, but at the same time, it's like that's how you grow, not just as a person, but also as an artist as well.
I like that. I like that. So let me ask you this. So what made you get started into, with art? Like
Hmm.
what got you into art? Like was it just a passion that you always had growing up, or just was it something that just made you just say, I want to do art? Like this is what I have a love for.
I would say definitely like sparked my curiosity, I guess, as a kid. So that I would start like drawing like the cartoons, the newspaper, and then from there, like I was strictly just using just pencils and a Sharpie marker. So I just kept drawing more characters from out the comic strips. Then I started moving into TV shows. Back at the time, was it like Rugrats, Rocko's Modern Life, some Cartoon Network shows like Dexter's
Oh,
Laboratory.
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
dope part. So I know you remember Angry Beavers, man.
of course I did. I couldn't stand Norbit, but Daggett was the wild for sure. But hey, Daggett knew how to live life on edge, so I couldn't be mad at that.
I think that was the coolest part about watching them. Like now that we have become of age now, like you understand, so the
Hmm.
whole concept behind the cartoon and what messages portray to whoever wants to kind of, take it in how they want to. But overall, I just
Hmm.
love the animation. I've actually seen people that reminded me of them. So I used to be like, damn, they look like the Angry Beavers and stuff. So or the Rugrats. So
Right?
it's common, you know what I mean? It's very, very
Yeah.
common, man. What I was gonna ask you too is,
Hmm.
I know you mentioned about that art. So about that piece, show me that piece again. What's the story behind that piece?
Honestly, I don't have one. I
Uh,
really don't. I think at that time I was just trying to think like, how can I involve I couldn't really think of like a character per se. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's women or male characters as far as cartoon wise, like that people probably might have looked at in a sexual manner. But I think for me, I was like, nah, I didn't want to take that route. I feel like that was just way too easy.
yeah,
So I kind of wanted to just think of like, okay, well, what are gestures that some people may or may not relate to? So
right.
I picked like three different types of images, did different couple of references, and then I was trying to figure out like a different color palette. I figure if I think of erotic, I want to think of more of a warm tone type of color. So then I kind of went with like the purple, the pink, a little bit of more of like the dark red. And I surprisingly shocked myself, realized like how well these three paintings like complement each other. So yeah.
It's just dope how you did it because once people end up seeing this after this interview,
Hmm.
they're gonna be like, "Yo, where can I find this piece?" And of course, they're gonna be able to find you.
Yeah, of course.
All your info down, you know what I mean, as far as what you said in the video. But I just think
Yep.
it's phenomenal, man. Just y'all putting pieces together like that and just seeing people do art. And I see the art in the background too by your shoulder.
Yeah, I got the tacos. My favorite one that speaks to me the most. If I was a foodie person, I'm obsessed with tacos. So I'm like, yes, feed me tacos all the time.
Man, that's some dope stuff. And let me ask you this then. So how
Hmm.
much has your performance improved from last year? And what new skills were you able to build?
Ooh, that is a very good question, man. Um, I guess I say I would definitely. I've taken a chance more on doing a lot of things by hand,
Mhm.
not being afraid to explore color palettes, learning the different types of brushes to use. I've gotten to a little bit more in depth with that. Learning a lot of this, really taking my time. I realize with painting, it requires a lot of patience, and it's taught me patience over the years because I lacked it a lot for a while. Um, so I feel like I've noticed the biggest change with some of my smaller paintings. Now I'm not afraid to work with bigger pieces. And now I feel like when I work with small pieces, I'm like, oh, this is not it. It's like I want the bigger the better.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, definitely learning to just take my time with things, slow and control. Kind of I guess if we say that and ties in with fitness as well as your life or balanced life.
Yeah.
Um, so from there, I just felt like, okay, we're gonna let's play around with some more colors. Let's go bigger. Let's figure out how we are going to interchange some of these characters up. So that's how I got like the Simpson, the Marge piece when I did. So it's more so like, okay, I want to tap in a little bit more into my creativity. So for this year, it's kind of like I want to say I'm starting off a little bit slow, but I kind of want to be sure that, okay, be sure this is what you want to paint, this is what you want to sketch out. If you like the idea, cool. If not, that's okay. Leave it set to the side. You might be sparked by something else, and you might be able to even combine them together.
See it, and what I realize about that too, you really got to challenge yourself when it comes down to your passion or whatever see fit to do what's in
Right.
your heart. Because a lot of times it's easy for you to be like, oh, what I mean, I want to do this, and you fight against your mind. Your mind is your biggest enemy, but you sit back and you be like, you know what? Let me give this a try. And even if it doesn't work, it's just like at least you attempted to do it, and it's just like you just keep
Hmm.
going.
Right. You never know, you might end up actually going to you like, you know what, I said I didn't want to like do this out or try this out, but let me keep working on it. And then you might end up finding a new passion for it.
Yeah, that's how I got started. You know what I mean? Like some of the things that I
Hmm.
started off as hobbies. For example, like I remember I used to play with the beats. I had a keyboard, I had a little small little digital keyboard about this small, and I used to
Hmm.
tap on the pad. So I was able to take each sound and construct it to each pad. So when I seen the numbers, that's what made me start tracking the beat. I started just tracking the hi-hat, started tracking the snare, started tracking the sound, and then I started tracking the bass
Okay.
for the 808. Before I knew it, I had a whole template down with a concept like this is how I'm going to start making my beats, but it's going to be different melodies and different sounds. So I wasn't scared to step outside the norm. I actually started off making up north beats from being down south, which is funny. Um,
Nice.
Learned how to do that, and then once I learned trap sound and stuff like that, it was just everything was just wide open. I got really into EDM, um,
Hmm.
making techno beats, like just house music, and that's something that I can go back to and do it for fun. But I used to make I used to make road music for my friends because they traveled a lot.
Yeah.
I would burn and take a little CD and have literally about 3 to 5 beats, and the CD would damn near be like 15 or 20 minutes long or 30 minutes long. It just depends. But I like the fact that you stepped outside your comfort zone, man, and you're starting to challenge yourself. What are some difficulties that you actually deal with as a woman artist?
First of all,
Talk about it.
being a woman of being a woman of color,
Hmm.
I run into this very much a lot more than people think, and I don't talk about it as much, but there is a heavy amount of uncertainty in I wouldn't say the art community, I guess.
Hmm.
Whereas pop art in just general, no matter whatever your complexion is or whatever race or your background, pop art for some reason isn't as uh an eye for or I guess an eyesore compared to abstract surrealism, sculpting, and I feel like why can't pop art just as be held as a high regard as any other category in art? Because even splatter paint is even held. I guess maybe it doesn't tap into some people. For
Yeah.
some, it does. For others, it doesn't. I guess maybe for some it might be a triggering thing for them that might tap into your childhood. But I mean, who's to say that an abstract piece looking at certain colors might not trigger you either?
Mm.
Um, and so there's been at times where a lot of people are kind of like pushing me to be like, well, you should be painting more, paint brilliantly, paint celebrities, paint your family, or can you paint my dog, can you paint my cat type of thing. And I don't have anything against people who do those type of styles. By all means, no. I mean, my friends do those things as a living too.
Yeah.
But I feel that if you really think about it, there really is no black male or female pop artist. I don't think I can Google it. You can't even put it on Wikiboard. You can't find it in the library. There really is none. And if you really think about it, one person most people know of that they're familiar with is Basquiat, but Basquiat's style was definitely abstract.
Yeah.
And granted, I may not be able to relate to it. I admire his choice of color palettes that he
Right.
used for his pieces. And I feel like, why is it that we can't have a category for that? Because you do have your black male or female surrealism. You got the sculptures. You have people who do splatter paint. What do you call it? Like acrylic pouring. You have those people who are well known, famous for that. Even people who kind of take surrealism and kind of incorporate a little bit some of the part characters. I guess you would call it mixed media. You
Yeah.
have those people who do those things, and I feel like, well, let me be in that lane, even though it is a white male dominant lane, because there's not too many females that do it either. So
Yeah.
I feel like I hear what you guys are saying and I understand that,
Mhm.
but let me let me do that. It's okay to, still paint cartoons, still draw cartoons. We watch it. Shoot, we got Rick and Morty, you got places like people like Bob's Burgers, but
Yeah.
I just feel like sometimes it had those moments where I'd be like, no, well, maybe if I did do this, maybe I'll get more or I'll be more accepted because it's harder for me when I'm trying to apply for exhibitions, when I'm trying to apply for grants, when I'm trying to get into galleries where it's a lot of times overlooked. So people are like, well, maybe you should do Comic Cons. And I feel like Comic Cons are cool, but Comic Cons a little bit more leaning, a little bit more anime. And
Yeah.
granted, I used to watch anime. I'm not as heavy on it, but even then, who's to say it? Who's to say it? My work may catch the eye there. It may or may not. But even then, that's still even a stretch. But like I tell for myself, I'm like, no, there's a goal that I want to obtain. There's a message that I want to get across. Like the thing is, the world can use a Black female pop artist, and that's exactly the road that I want to go towards. Whether it take me 10, 20, 30, 40, even till the wheels fall off, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to subject myself. I'm not going to change. I get the messages and I see them. I get them like my DMs, everything once in a while, and I'm just like, thank you, but no thank you. I'm not going to change it. I don't tell other artists, I'm like, yo, you should stop doing this and paint this or draw that. So yeah.
You're not really doing the same thing like people are doing. Like you're not just hitting somebody up like you mentioned earlier and saying, "Hey, I think you should do this." Like you shouldn't be doing that right there because that's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. You mentioned something about them grants, and my question to you about that is: are they basing it off your artwork, like what you currently are doing right now, or you feel like they're looking at it just because of who you are as a person of color?
I say both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say both. I think if I was into maybe like doing like maybe landscaping, or if I was a different category, they'll probably be like, "Hey, well, we can possibly see how this can go for you," type of thing. But given, like I said, I feel like with pop art, it's kind of like people want to shy away from it because they just feel like, "Oh no," but who's to say? I'm like, why deem it if everything else in the world, yarn work, even people who can make things out of what do you call those little caps that you get from off of sodas, like like they will get it quicker than someone like me. I'd be like,
Mhm.
okay, who's to say what's right or what's wrong? There is no right or wrong category in art at all.
Yeah, you
But
know what, man,
a lot of professionals,
feel that, like, because what you're saying is you
yeah,
still follow who you are. You should still continue to do what you're doing. And like you said, like right now, you're going to a different type of art show that you never really, went to before. But
mm-hmm,
who's to say that that could be another lane for you? You know,
right.
you don't know who somebody gonna see your piece and be like, damn, like you did this.
Might meet a gallery owner while I'm there just because I have the women, but you never know.
You never know, and I feel like you should never stop being who you are, man. I feel like with social media and things,
Mm-hmm.
and people are misled, and they're telling people to be something that they're not. Which is nothing wrong with being like, oh, you could be anything, but let's be real though, like who are you? You know what I mean? Like you gotta
Mm-hmm.
find out who you are deep inside, because the truth is inside you at the end of the day, and you shouldn't have to just go with what society is saying is best for you. That's like somebody telling you, like, oh, go out in that lake over there and grab you a fish off that lake. It's gonna be fresh and fine. You're gonna be good. You don't know what's in that lake.
Right.
That-
Like, no, no, it won't be me, but I appreciate the gesture, but thank you, but no, thank you.
That's what I'm saying, man. Let me ask you this. So,
Mhm.
tell me about like the three most influential people in your life and how they had an impact on you.
Ooh, oh my gosh.
Hit you with them questions, man.
Okay, two. Okay, two people. I for sure.
Hmm.
I gotta say my dad.
Okay.
God rest his soul.
Mhm.
He actually is the one that pushed me to start. He saw that I had the talent, so he kind of like, okay, you can draw this. Okay, let me put you in this little program here. You complete that program. We'll see, where it goes from here. And even then, it's kind of like he was still kind of he wanted to see more of what else I could do outside of just drawing pencil. He didn't know if I could do sculpting. He didn't know if I could do oils, pastels. So that's the program that he put me under. It introduced me to like all these other different mediums, and they were fun. Felt like they graded a little bit harsh because I was like, "Golly, I'm just a preteen. Like, I don't know what these terminologies mean. Like, come on, chill, relax with me."
Yeah.
Um, Second person, whew, he actually passed away too a long time ago. Mr. Leon Anderson. He was my seventh and eighth grade language teacher in middle school, and that man cursed like a sailor. He gave zero app. He did not care.
Yeah.
He was a war veteran, World War II veteran actually,
Mhm.
and had the perfect handwriting. I used to always like doodle on my paper, but he would always be pulling me to the side and he'd just be like, I see what you're doing, but stop doing it. um, but I would always hang out with him when classes are done. If I was done with my stuff early, I would like sneak into his classroom just to sit around, just to hang out with him. He was an old soul. He
Yeah.
liked the little lunch ladies in the room because he got free food from them. He tried to be sweet on them. I'd be like, now what you trying to finesse these women in the lunchroom?
Yeah.
And I'd just be watching him. He'd be coming out with like plate, right, with plate. And sometimes they would come in our class and they give him some gold plates when he get home. I was like, sir,
He had a down pat.
yeah. So he did. And even after I graduated and everything, I would still keep in touch with him. Like I used to go by his house.
Mhm.
When I was away in college, I would come home, I would go see him just to check on him, see how life was going, went to his funeral and everything when I found out he passed.
Yeah.
I even had got something out of his will. As well. He considered me, I guess, like one of his grandkids. So yeah, I've always looked up to that. He always kept telling me like, don't ever take no for an answer. Find other avenues, but don't ever feel like just because somebody tells you no, that it's not the end of the world.
Right.
So I've always carried that with me, not just with art, but just with everything else in general. I'm be like, shoot, we're gonna find a way, we're gonna make a way.
Yeah.
Whether you might have to step back and do something else, like cool, but that's just his philosophy on things. Um, Thirdly, all right, I gotta do the moms.
Yeah.
At first she was kind of like, I'm not sure how this is gonna work out. But I think once she had a chance to actually see me do me in my element, she came to the Black Girl Art Show in DC, and she was just like,
Everything.
oh my God. I think for me, that was like my first time. I literally had like a line of people waiting to like buy my stuff. I had my sister helping me. I had my boyfriend, he was helping me. We were all like helping buying stuff up, like bagging things up, giving them to people. And so my mom was just like, she was like, oh my God. She's like, oh my God, wow. So now every time I get a chance to talk to her, she's like, what you painting? What you working on? Like, how you doing? How's everything going? And I just tell her what everything I got going on, shows, interviews, meetings that I might have to talk to people, consultations, all that stuff. She pretty much
Mhm.
I tap her in just about everything. So yeah.
And you know what? Dang man, like so your father really challenged you. He basically took you through
Yeah.
the steps and he never let you be like, okay, like this is it. He kept challenging you along the way. And that's why you continue
Mm-hmm.
to challenge yourself um till this day. And that's big, man, because I feel like a lot of women, you know what I'm saying, they need somewhat of a father figure, even if it isn't their, you know what I'm saying, an actual father.
Mm-hmm.
Huge role in your life because you continue to challenge yourself, but they keep it real with you, man. Because my father is like that with my sister back home, and it was things that he told her that she didn't want to listen to, but after a while, it started clicking for her, and she picked up and she's like, you know what, Daddy, like I know I didn't listen to you, nothing like that, but I appreciate you just point me in the right direction and not really just lead me astray. And as far as your teacher,
Yeah.
big man, like that's big.
God, he was absolutely crazy. It's so insane. Like even if people I go back home, if
Mhm.
I mention his name, like a lot of people knew who he was. It was like, yo, I remember saying something like that man used to come in with the smoothest suits. And then every time for Veterans Day, we were in school, he would wear his uniform. He would tell us the war stories, the women that he used to mess with. Then he used to talk about his late wife when she had passed and everything. Like she was gorgeous. He showed us pictures of what she looked like when she was a teenager to even like her own adult. I was like, oh my gosh, absolutely insane. But he just had so much to learn. I feel like he's like everybody's grandfather. No matter what race you are, you're basically like his grandkid.
He remind me of my history teacher, Mr. Young, and he's still here, man. One thing he used to always
Mm-hmm.
tell us in the classroom, we had these things called That was called Young Bucks. It was like little cash money that he would give us
Mhm.
in order for us to get certain supplies or snacks and things out of his room, right? But one thing he always
Mhm.
told us, Tiff, he was saying that I got mine. You better get yours. I got mine though. We used to be like, what? It was funny.
Mhm.
How? I'm like, yeah, that joke ain't even funny because what he was telling us this whole time is to make sure you have your life in order. Make sure you have things prioritized outside of finances. Like, make sure you have your shit together. He told us that one time in the classroom because these boys was playing around. And he said, look,
Mhm.
he said, right now, he said, it's 2006. He said, 10 years from now, you're going to be wishing that you down paid attention to what was going on around this world rather than what's going on inside this classroom. Because I'm not just telling you something to be telling you something. And that sat with me for so long. And your story, you
And
tell
now look at us.
huge. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And now going back to what you said about your mother, man, it's been times where my mama had to see stuff too, to believe in,
Mhm.
support it. And it make you be like, okay, you be like, man, I'm showing my mama this, and she just like she on the fence. She like, I don't know about this. Like you said, she was kind of like, I don't know how this gonna work with Tiff. I'd rather her, have a job and get a degree. The typical traditional way that we've been conditioned over the years, man, our whole life. And it took for my mom to see things that I knew that I had knowledge about because what happens is they push away what they don't know. And it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay because
Mhm.
they're not comfortable. But it took for me to do certain things to where my family wasn't doing for my mom and everybody to be like, you know what, Turquoise is on to something. And your mama seen that you was on to something and you gained her full support right then and there. Just her seeing you grind and hustle and having your sister there and then having your boyfriend there and having pretty much a big support system. And I feel like we should have more support systems around us, whether
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
in form or whether it's in physical form or either if it's at a distance, it doesn't matter. Cause like I told you,
Mhm.
like I told Jay, man, if I fuck with you, man, I fuck with you, man. You know what I'm saying? And
Facts.
people don't have that no more. So it sometimes it takes for people just to see you do something or just pretty much put a bug in the air, like, look, man, I see what you're doing. If you need some help in it, like just let me know, whatever the case may be. And that was the main
Mhm.
reason why I sat back and I realized over the course of 5 years, this was something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I was like, I want to be able to put people up on a platform to where folks can find you, even those that don't know you, because it's just like some people don't know you that I don't know. Same here on your end. But if they see something that's benefiting everybody as a whole, I mean, why not? We can all prosper. You know what I mean?
Facts. Super facts.
Do you have any more pieces or anything you would like to share before we close out, so the people can actually
Um,
who are listening?
yeah, I actually have one. It's wrapped up right now, but I'm not going to take it out because I'm actually going to actually change her skin complexion because there's a scratch on it.
Mhm.
But there is this one,
Oh, that's
like new phones. Yeah, new phones. Who's this? I don't know why all of a sudden I started liking doing these little, like taking some of these vintage comics and like making them like more people of color, but then incorporating them with like sayings that we would say all the time, like as a black community.
yeah,
And I think I like that direction too because now it's like more people wanting these things like in their household,
yeah,
especially like when I go to these marketplaces. It's like that all the time. They're like, oh my God, do you have this? Like, oh, you should make one with these words. And I'd be like, I'll write notes. I'm like, you know what? I never thought of that. But let me add that to the list then. Because for now, I literally do have a list of different sayings, different words. So now I'm like, I'm just trying to find a good color scheme for them, or how can I change it up a little bit? Because I actually like doing them with like different hair colors. It's fun, and actually I like when I go to places because then I stick out like a sore thumb. At first, I used to be upset about that,
yeah,
where I just like, damn, there literally is nobody else really here with my same type of work. But I like the feedback that I get when people come there, just like, yo, like seriously, like I see
yeah,
a lot of people, like I see a lot of people who do like the same type of style paintings, but then I see your work and it's like, oh my God. Like it looks like it's like literally copy paste. Like, is this really paint? Like for real? Like, is this all work by hand? They're surprised. And sometimes to me, I'm like, all right, are you gassing my head up or are you being for real?
yeah, for
So
real.
and I be made myself sometimes not even realize like how clean some of my work is. But people be like, how long does it take? And I guess maybe because my time frame is like really short,
Yeah,
they're like, wait, what? It only takes you maybe 3 to 4 days at most. It'll take me to finish most paintings, depending on the size and how many colors I'm using. And they're just like, there's no way. And I'm like, oh, there's way.
I mean, you
But
got,
it
you
just,
got a dope concept, man. Like you just got your own thing going on because when I was at that show, when I was at that last show that y'all had up there in Raleigh, I'm talking about there was a
the
lot of
pancake and booth.
Yep, that one, Pancake
Yeah.
Booze. You could see your stuff, you could see like your actual art glowing. So like, they had lights and stuff, but you could just look at everybody else's stuff and you'd be like, damn, like that look dope. And you see pieces. That's why that first time I seen when you made the shirts, by the way, that I still gotta get my order my shirt. But ain't it with the shirts, I was like, yo, she on or something because that's all you need. You just need something that adds sentimental value in somebody's home. And rock it. That's free advertisement for you.
I must say, 'cause I definitely did. I got me a shirt done. I got the taco one. I was like, there is no way I'm not going to leave this world without me getting my own stuff on the shirt. It actually feels good sometimes when I work out, when I go to places and they be looking at stuff. They're like, yo, wait, oh, that's different. I'm like, oh, yeah, I did that. Thank you. It's like, really? These are on clothes? I'm like, yeah, I got a whole website.
Trying to tell you because like what I was gonna say too, we'll end up talking about in the back end. I'm gonna definitely want definitely want a custom piece myself with something. It's gonna I don't know, it's either gonna be the high polish or either the Turk got work. I'm gonna think about it for a minute. It might be both, knowing me.
Okay.
I get some dope, you know what I'm saying? That'd be dope to actually do that and see what feedback I get off of that and just see what the responses and everything look like too from there. Cause your work is, like I said, man, y'all got some phenomenal work and you just keep doing what you've been doing.
Of course. I ain't gonna stop. I ain't gonna change none whatsoever.
Nah, just keep improving, man. So let me do this before we close out. So
Okay.
where can the listeners find Miss Tiffy Inks at?
I am pretty much everywhere on social media. So Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. I almost have to forget my Instagram. Have mercy. All spelled the same way. TIFFYINKS. All one word, nothing hyphenated, nothing capitalized, none over the other. I do have a YouTube page, but I need to actually be updating it more often so I can get the followers. But it's hard trying to content create. Like I make videos of this whole thing. Like it's hard being a content creator. I'm like, look, can I just take a picture, make a slideshow, and y'all just enjoy it from there? Now I gotta record videos. I gotta talk.
And check this out. I'm gonna drop a gem in your ear. When you get off of here, check out Meet Edgar. It's a website. You can make most of your posts and everything in your social media automated. You can set up everything automated to where you can post at the same times on certain days to where you ain't gotta constantly keep going on there. It does it for you. They have a 7-day free trial on there, and then once you kind of look at what else they offer, it shows you like the monthly payments or either the yearly payment. But I seen that I follow. I seen a guy that I followed that was talking about it on my Gumroad app, and when I looked at it, man, it's a game changer, man. You can still do.
Yeah, because I need that because I don't. I have time, but a lot of times I just like, oh my god, I've been forgetting. Like, oh shoot, I got posted somewhere. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I just need one click. Boom. Thank you. That's it. Work smarter, not harder. There we go.
And that's what I plan on doing. So like I was telling everybody else, and I was telling Jay too as well. I was like, I'm gonna let everybody know how that works. I'm gonna try that 7-day free trial thing, see the feedback that I get, and just go from there. And if it works for me, then I will continue to use it because it eliminates you from having to, you know what I'm saying, grab your phone every couple seconds and check emails and check notifications and all that, when you can just get everything all at once. If you decide to wind down at nighttime, just look at it and be like, okay, the progress that I'm getting. So it's a hack, man. It's a big hack that you can use in your arsenal. So while you doing
yes, we need all the tools we can get. Okay.
I had to do that. So with closing, everybody, man, it's been a pleasure having Miss Tiffy Inks.
Yes, of course.
I do appreciate your time. I do appreciate you taking the time out to just, be here, So we're gonna be doing more of this, man.
I appreciate it. This was dope.
Look, I don't want to hold you up. You enjoy your evening.
Okay.
Y'all be sure to follow Miss Tiff on IG and Twitter and Facebook, all that. We're gonna holler at y'all later, man.